Summer break is almost here. Hoorah! Or maybe there's an extended holiday coming up, or school's going to be closed for a while. What can you do to make sure that kids keep learning and come back ready to go? Let's turn to AI to get some strategies and get some support for student learning when kids aren't in school. We're going to look at a short series of prompts. And really, the first one is the primary one because it's going to set the stage for what happens next. So the first prompt is to simply ask for some strategies and some supports. This, what we're looking at right now, is the boilerplate, the template. And we start off with the context. You're teaching some subject and you're teaching some students. So you can put in what is it that you want the kids to work on and learn about while they're out of school, and who are those kids? Then you're going to describe some of their specific learning needs, whether they're kids who are behind grade level expectations or ahead or ELL or whatever the case may be. This is where you describe that. And then we move to the problem that we're trying to solve. The year is ending. I'm concerned about potential student learning loss, or long holiday break is coming up, or whatever the case may be. That's what you're going to put here in the problem section. And then we follow it up finally with the need. What do we want the AI to do for us? In this case, 3 research-based strategies that you can implement on your own, and that's an important part. So it's not dependent upon the district or out-of-school programming or funding, but implement on your own to prevent or mitigate student learning loss. Then we're going to ask for something a bit tricky, and I'll show you what this looks like in just a moment. But for each of those strategies, now apply it to the various student characteristics. So if you've got kids that are behind, then we need to have it adapted for the kids that are behind. Or if they're ELL or whatever the case may be, we want to differentiate the strategies and apply it to that student population. And finally, emphasize shorter activities spread out over time that are easy and fun because they're out of school. They're not under your thumb at the moment, so they have to have some reason, and we have to remove some barriers to their participation. Okay, so that's the boilerplate prompt there. Now, before you try to copy it all down, check out the comments down below. I'll put a link to where you can actually go and copy all of these and get a copy of all of these. All right, so there it is right there. Let's see what it might look like for a particular teacher. All right, in this case, algebra 8th grade students. So basic description. Then we've got our characteristics. Students are a little behind, need some skill development. Students who are on track may need reinforcement, and some who are ready to move on. The rest of this prompt is directly from the template. So what would this look like if the AI actually does it for us? So let's copy that and let's turn over to ChatGPT and give it a try and see what we can get. Now I am on the thinking mode. There's also the option for fast answer, but this is still quick enough, to be honest, and it's a better response anyway. All right, so what do we have? 3 research-based strategies for reducing summer algebra learning loss. All right, great stuff. Then we've got some general guidelines. Don't give them a large packet, light but repeated engagement and so forth. So some really good advice there about how to approach this task. Then we're going to have all 3 strategies. So title, the research, what it looks like, the structure, and then, as you see it, students with a light grasp and how we modify it for them, on track and how we modify it for them, and advanced students, how we modify it for them. So it's going to do that for the whole thing, and an easy and fun variation. Very cool. And then it's going to go through number 2 and number 3, just like I asked for. So that's the first part right there. And what you're going to do as a teacher is you're going to look at those and say, that's the one that I want. Based on what you know about the kids, their progress, their engagement, their circumstances when they're out of school and so forth, you will use your judgment to choose the one that seems most appropriate for your students. That's why we ask for more than one. Now, the second prompt is a follow-up on that. It's basically to give some support for you, the teacher, in implementing the selected strategy. So, very simply, for strategy number, whichever one you choose, give me the resources. Prepare them for download as Word documents with formatting. So let's say it's number 2. Let's say that's the one that we choose. And we will turn that over using the same discussion so it can refer back to what it's already done. And give me the packet, basically, but in Word format so it can be edited and prettied up if need be. All right. And then prepare it as a Word document. Once you've edited it, it's ready to distribute to the kids. All right. Very, very nice. And it's going to take a moment to do that. Creating a packet, different levels, resources, and so forth. And it's gonna think for a bit, and then it will give us a nice set of resources for the kids. Then, the follow-up on that. This is for you. How do you get the kids to do it? Right? They're out, they're at home, they're wherever they are. What can you do to increase the chance that they actually do it? You can't really hold them accountable for what they do out of school. You don't have any control over it. So how do you encourage them to do it? All right, so I've copied that one. What strategies can I use to motivate or encourage students to complete them? Focus on motivation strategies that are practical for a single teacher. Because we don't want it to be like send them off to tutoring or summer camps or anything like that. So not dependent on district funding or formal summer programming. And let's get that over to our AI. And it's still working on that one. So let me go ahead and just stop that for now. Okay. Like I said, the higher thinking models take a bit more time, but the quality is worth the wait. Absolutely. All right, but let's move on to strategies for the teacher. What can you do? And since we're not creating something here, it's going to go a little bit faster. But honestly, even if it takes a few minutes, it's still far less time than what it would take you to do it manually. All right, practical motivation strategies. Give them a choice, how to apply it, applying it to the different characteristics, and it's going to go through a set of strategies that you can use to encourage the kids to actually do the work that you gave them. And it's going on a lot. So let's just zip down for a moment. Some of these will be practical for you, some of them won't. But again, you're the teacher. You're the expert. You're going to use your judgment and decide which of those seem to be most effective. What this is giving us is options. It's giving us inputs into your thinking process. And it's going to go through a bunch of that stuff. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And finally, the last follow-up. If this is something that you're sending home for the kids to work on, you're going to need some parent buy-in as well, because they're the ones who are seeing the kids every day, not you. So the last step is prepare a letter to parents to explain the purpose, encourage their support with practical actions that they can take. Basically, when kids are in your classroom, you are the proxy for the parent. When kids are at home, the parents are the proxies for you. So, what would you like them to do? So, there you go. Some quick strategies for using AI to help mitigate or prevent learning loss when kids are out of school. I hope you found this useful. Take care.